She's talking about a CNN article about a lady named Deborah Mitchell who wrote an article entitled "Why I Raise My Children Without God." Right? Why I raise my children without God. Of course, that's kind of interesting. You can't live without God. But anyway, she lists several reasons why she shielded her children from learning about God. Most of them are variants, Nancy Pearcey tells us, on the problem of evil.
Of course it is.
Right? Yeah. And so she's arguing that a loving God wouldn't allow all of these evil things, murders and child abuse and wars and that sort of thing. Of course, as Nancy Pearcey points out, the classic Christian answer to the problem of evil is that God created humans with free will, and they have made a horrific mess of things, right? So this is called a free will defense.
Yeah, there's always that side, and then the Romans 9 of God uses all things for his glory, including the evil.
Right.
God loved Jacob but hated Esau.
Good. And that's called a theodicy,
Yeah.
by the way, given a reason why God has evil, so that God can exist and evil can both exist at the same time.
And our friend Scott Christensen is currently writing a book, and he did promise to come back on the show. Just saying, I'm calling him out right now that he's got to come back in.
Good, yeah. So Nancy points out here, having rejected the Christian answer, what did Mitchell offer as an alternative? She proposed a materialistic worldview in which humans are completely determined without free will. Right?
Oh, good. Just get rid of it.
Yeah, we're just very small part of a big machine, she intones. And the influence we have is minuscule. We must accept the realization of our insignificance. Yeah. That's what you want to teach your child.
It's a great thing. It's what I tell my kids all the time. You mean nothing, and what you do here in life insurmounts to pretty much you being non-existent.
Right.
Yeah.
And so and so obviously Nancy Pearcey points this out as well. Is that meant to be an appealing alternative to Christianity? That humans are little machines trapped in a big machine, that their actions are insignificant, right? She says the problem with it is that it's not true. Its view of humanity runs counter to the data of human experience. That is this whole idea of materialism and dehumanizing humans. Right?
Yeah, I mean, think of the great stories humanity has written, even going back to Homer and the Odyssey, and or just the scale of human history, with leaps and bounds of the automobile with Henry Ford, or just the invention of the nuclear bomb with the Manhattan Project. These were small people working on a big thing that revolutionized,
changed everything.
Yeah. I mean, small people. Newton or Leibniz, whichever one, reinvents calculus, and just does that just off the top of his head. I mean, like, small people enacting big changes.
Yeah. So she points out there's no society without some moral code, and yet materialism kind of leaves us bereft of
right.
a moral code, right? The testimony of universal human experience is that humans are not merely little robots, right? After all, what is a worldview intended to explain? A worldview is meant to give a systematic explanation of those inescapable, unavoidable facts of experience accessible to all people in all cultures across all periods of history. Right?
This is me putting it at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah.
In post. That's a great definition of worldview.
That is good, yeah. So in biblical terms, those facts constitute what can be called general revelation, right? So you'll recall there's a distinction between special revelation, which is Scripture, and general revelation, which is the world that God created, right? Reveals Him. So both special and general revelation reveals who God is. Yeah. Right?
Open your eyes, there it is.
Yeah. So she says that the starting point for any philosophy, that is the data that it seeks to explain, right? If it fails to explain the data of experience, what we experience, then it has failed the test. It has been what she calls falsified. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And so she's going to go on to say, to help us to see the importance of how, every worldview must meet our experience, or,
Right.
or it fails.
Right, and that's true for any theory. In worldview, you can kind of think as this theory of what is it even trying to do? It's trying to explain the world in which you live in. If it doesn't explain what you're viewing, then it's not a theory, or it's not one worth having, at least. You know, if you're trying to determine if you're a fish and you don't account for water, you're probably not. Your theory probably doesn't hold water. That's right, hold water.